Hey, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today we got an unboxing. Just came in today. It was here when I got home from work. And it's coming from, as you can see, KCI, the Knife Center. Let's see what it is. Doing the unboxing today is one of my favorite new carries for work knives. The Baglighter XL. This is Purple Rain. Absolutely love these people. This one's been modified. Let you see the drop. Been modified with skiff bearings, the 6mm pivots with 16th inch thickness ceramic ball bearings encased in phosphor bronze cages. This knife is super smooth. Absolutely love it, people. 154 cm. It's got G10. It came with white G10 handle scales, and I dyed them purple with royal purple synthetic. Might be easier to open from this side. Royal purple synthetic RIT dye. That's what I would recommend, because I've tried the other kinds of RIT dyes before, and that's the one I've had the best results with, the synthetic RIT dye. But I absolutely think this knife is a super duper awesome knife. It's one of my favorites of all time. It's become one of my favorites of all time. I fidgeted with it constantly, non-stop, to see if it would get messed up, and it hasn't gotten messed up. This is an awesome knife. Awesome, awesome, people. It's my favorite plunge lock of the year. I know it came out previous year, but this is my first year that I've had one. So for me, it's a new thing for this year. And what we got here? Cold Steel Leatherneck Bowie fixed blade knife, 10.5 inch D2 black, powder coated blade, Kray-Ex handles, Secure-X sheath, 142.95, Knife Center. This was a pre-order, people. I pre-ordered this a long time ago when I saw that the other ones weren't going to work for me. The Lynn C Thompsons. I sort of wish I would have kept the original one I had, because, you know, I could deal with the loose guard, and somebody told me how to, one of you guys told me how to fix the loose guard. And that was like a 370 something, like 375 or something like that number, which was a really good number for a collectible. But I sent it back in because the loose guard was bugging me. And then I asked for a replacement, and they sent me back with something that was almost 2,000, like 1,000 something, almost 2,000. And it didn't even have the signature on the box or anything like that. So I sent that one back, and it had a loose guard also. So I don't know, maybe a loose guard, maybe just part of this model. So I don't know. But if it is a part of this model, I'm not sending this one back. I'm going to figure out how not to make the guard loose. And I'll let you all know how to do it. I'm gonna try the tip that the person tipped me about how to fix the loose guard issue. Yeah, I've thought about some other ways to do it too. So it might be an experimentation thing. Let's see if I get this close this box. There we go. I'm gonna read you the specs off the box. Blade length 10.5 inches. Overall length 15.25 inches. Steel German D2. Weight 17 ounces. Blade thickness 5 millimeters. Handle 4 3/4 Kray-Ex. I absolutely love these. I love the size of them. I love the way it's just a big, giant, massive fighting Bowie. I absolutely love it, people. And if the guard's a little bit loose, doesn't mean that it's a bad knife. It just means that the guard's a little bit loose. Doesn't mean that the steel's bad or anything like that. But I'll figure that out. All right, let's check out the knife. Secure X sheath, we all know about those. Anybody that's had a cold steel fixed blade, pretty much. Nice and heavy. This one's not loose, people. This guard's not loose. It's not loose at all. Okay. Well, I guess I won't be showing how to fix a loose guard. This one's got, remember the problem I had before? This one's totally tight. Oh man, I love this knife. Look at that blade stock. It's like a full tang blade. Isn't that a beautiful knife? So I like these better than the collectible ones, people. If all of them were going to be like this one is sweet. And I like how the labeling is nice and small on the knife. It's not so big and bogus. I like this one better. I like the collectible stuff, but I actually like this knife a lot better. I like the way it looks better, everything. Let's do some comparisons. I'm going to set the sheath out the way. I'm going to do some comparisons. Let me see. Let's compare it to some of my other big, massive combat Bowies that I have. This is my Becker BK9. I'm going to line it up right here. So it's a little bit shorter. It looks like about 1 inch shorter. The handle's about the same size. Which handle feels the best? This BK9 handle feels really good. I've actually done some wood crafting stuff with this knife. Batoning and that kind of stuff. Done videos on it if you guys want to see the videos. Oh, but this handle feels so good too. This one feels more like a fighting handle though. This one feels more like it's made to be a combat, like a fighter. So as a fighter, I don't know, I might like this one better. Let's see where the balance is. Balance is in front of the guard, like you want on a big knife. Same thing with the BK9. They're both balanced really good for their size. Okay, let's try out something else. Let me see. What's one of my other favorite big knives? How about my Tops Wild Pig Hunter. Wow, so it's like the blades are getting smaller, people. I absolutely love this knife, though. I can't lie. I really like this knife. I really, really, really like this knife. This one's made out of German D2. This one's made out of 1095 CV, and this one's 1095 HC. Chromium vanadium, high carbon. 1095 chromium vanadium CV, 1095 HC, high carbon. German D2. Okay, let's see what else we got over here. One of the other great blades I tried out this past year. This is one of my favorites right here. This one I've done wood crafting with too, batoning and things like that. This is my SE6. All of these are awesome blades, people. Every one of them. Every one of them is super awesome blades. Let me see. What other combat knives do we have? Let's try the buck knives. Let's go with buck. The buck combat knife. Absolutely love this one too. I forget what kind of steel is 5200 or 5100. I think it's 5100. Awesome. This one is 1095 HC again. This one's 1095 HC also. So we got German D2, 1095 CV, chromium vanadium, 1095 high carbon, 1095 hard carbon, and 52100. Is it 52 or 5100? Might be 51. Oh, 5160. That's what it is. 5160, people. Okay, next. The blades are getting smaller. Knives I tried for this past year that I thought were great knives. How about Warcraft? Italian 3V cold steel Warcraft. Absolutely love that one too. And let me see, how about a K-bar? EK50. 1095 HC. This one's 3V. 1095 HC, or 1095 CV, I'm sorry. Chromium vanadium. 1095 chromium vanadium. Great small little blade. Or, let me see, another 3V. AK. AK-47. 3V steel. Excellent knife. You got enough room for one more? S35VN SC4. That's a sheet for it. These I've all tried out this past year. These are all new knives for this year. Actually, I think this one might be, these two might be from December or so last year, like the end of last year. I think this one's from January. This one's today. And these I've had for a while now, since before the beginning of summer. This one I got towards the end of summer. Same thing with this one towards the end of summer. And we got one more to toss in here that could sort of fit in here. The General. My buck General. The one I got to replace my father's knife. All these knives are made in the United States, except for this one. This one's made in Taiwan. Now, what does the OG compare like? This is a replica of the World War II combat knife, USMC combat knife, K-bar. Now I forget what the name of the company was. It wasn't called K-bar during World War II. They got that name during, I think, 1950 or 52. There was another company that had that name, and then they said that company made the best knives. I can't remember the whole story exactly, so I'm not going to try to tell you guys the exact story. That's the size where that one would sort of fit in. I'm trying to line them up so you can see what the blade differences are. These are pretty much the same. All these knives, people, I highly recommend all these knives. I've tried all these out this past year, except for this one. This one I've had in my collection. I've never used this one at all. That's just a collector. It's just out here for comparison. This is the size of the original full-size I can't remember if it's 7-inch or 7.5-inch combat blade, K-bar combat blade. And the other thing I want to show you is that the blade tangs on these were like really small. They were considered like sort of like a rat tail, whereas the one on the cold steel knife is like a full tang. It's a covered handle, but the thickness and the width of that is like a full tang. So there should be a lot of strength in this knife. Absolutely love it. But this is the new one, people. D2 steel. It's supposed to be black powder coated. I don't know what the powder coat is. I don't know if it's like a paint or something like that. So it sounds like it might be like a paint, like it might wear off fairly easily. It's not a DLC finish. But it feels really good in hand, and the guards are nice and tight on this one. This one's properly made. Look at the thickness. It said it was a 10.5-inch blade. Let's check it out. $10 3/8, just shy of. I'm doing it from the base of this guard all the way up here. It's just a little bit. It's not quite. It's almost 10.5, but it's like 10 3/8. Total length is 15 1/4. I think that's what they said it was. The length of the handle is 4 3/4, like they said it was. But the blade is just shy. It's 10 3/8. Compared to 9 1/8 of an inch. Total length. $14 3/4. This one was 15 1/4. 13 inches. The blade, 8 inches. Handle, 5 inches. 12 inches. 7 inches for the blade. Of the handle. 5 inches. Handle on this one, 5 1/4. Blade, 6 1/2. Overall, 12 inches. 10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. 10 5/8. Handle length, 5 1/4. Blade length, 5 1/2 inches. Blade length on the general, 7 3/8. Total, 12 inches. Handle length, grip area on the handle, not including the guard, is like 4 1/4 inches. If you include the guard, it's 4 1/2 inches. AK-47, 5-inch blade. EK-50, 5-inch blade. Handle length on the AK-47, 5 inches. Handle length on the EK-50, 4 inches. SC4, S35VN SC4, 4.5-inch blade. Handle length, almost 4.5 inches. Grip area on the handle is actually about 4 inches. Total width, total length, 9 inches. Total length on the Warcraft, the small Warcraft, 10 inches. Handle length is 5 inches. The grip area looks like it's about 4.25. And the blade length is 5 inches. These are some awesome blades, people. Highly recommend all of these. Now, are these short swords, or are these more like just fighting knives and combat knives? I would call this a short sword. And this one, I would call this one a short sword. This one's getting close to being a short sword. So you know what? Everything smaller than this, I'm going to take it off the table. That's pretty close. Okay, now we're down to the Billy Badass blades. Okay, I got a couple more blades I want to show you, but they're going in the short sword category, the ones I tried this year. First up, the first one I tried this year is this one. This is a Magnum Tonto, a 3V Magnum Tonto. I already had the S35, what do you call it, the VG10 Sam A. This one's a 3V version. Another great fighting knife. I would call that a short sword. I think that falls into the short sword category. Next one that I tried this past year that I absolutely loved. Now it's on the budget side of things. That would call a short sword. The Warcraft, the 4034 Warcraft. And when you put the grip tape on this is awesome. It feels really good in hand. It's really easy to control. It's a good knife. Absolutely good knife. I know it's a budget steel, and you know, a lot of us don't like budget steels and stuff like that. I totally get that. But for a fighting or home defense knife, I got this to be a home defense knife. It doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to care about what kind of steel something is. If they break into your house and you have to pull that on them or whatever, they're just going to see a big ass blade. That's all they're going to see. That's all they're going to be caring about. They're not going to care about what kind of steel it is or whatever. They're just going to see something that looks like it can hurt them really bad. And they probably want to get away from it if they're smart. This is the other one because I got this one, and so I had to get the Sam May version. And I've been trying to learn how to double wield, and so I got 2 of these and 2 of these. And now I got 2 of these also. But one of these is a Sam May, and I got the 3V version of this one. I have 2 of the 4034s, and I have 2 of these in Sam May. But these feel really heavy. I don't know, for some reason this one feels lighter. Let's weigh them out. Let's find out if it is lighter. Just out of curiosity. I hope my scale will work with this. Compare the sizes though. Now they make the new Leatherneck look small. Well, not really small though, huh? Not too much of a difference. 12 inches, and these are 12-inch blades. Okay. And this one's a 10.5-inch blade. Can weigh this one first. Was that 1 pound, 2.5 ounces? Is that what I'm saying? Yeah, 1 pound, 2.5 ounces. This one. 1 pound. Oh no, it's 15.9 ounces. 15.9 ounces. So this is like 16 ounces. And this one would be 18.5 ounces. So this one is 2.5 ounces heavier. The Sam May version. This one has G10 handle skills. That might be where the weight is coming from. G10 weighs a lot more than Grivery. Grivery doesn't weigh hardly anything at all. I don't think it's as solid or as dense as G10. Probably has like more air in it, or it's just not as dense. Let me put it that way. But Grivery is a super light handle material. Grivery is the lightest, and after Grivery would come like carbon fiber, and then after carbon fiber, G10, and aluminum, and then titanium, and then stainless steel. Stainless steel being the heaviest for handle materials I see people use. But this one weighs, was it 2.5 ounces lighter? It's 2.5 ounces lighter. And you can feel it. This one feels more maneuverable. Whereas this one feels, like a higher quality knife, but I don't know, when you're in I think when you're in a combat situation, if they both have the same thickness, and probably this, I don't know, I'd expect the Sam May knife to be stronger than the 4034, but both of these are strong enough to fight people with. Is that I hate to make things sound gruesome or whatever, but if you had to use these in a combat situation against other human beings or animals or whatever, both of these will withstand that very easily. And that's what they're really meant for. They're meant to be, combat blades. But I think they could also probably do, I've never would try to do camp chores with these because I have knives I have for camp chores. Because I don't think of hollow ground blades as like the best knives for camp knives. Because hollow ground blades, the edge is thinner and it's a little bit weaker than, let's say, like a saber ground blade. So when I think of hollow ground blades, I think of blades that are meant to cut. They're not meant for chopping. They're not meant for batoning. I think they're meant for cutting. And like if you want to baton or something, get a blade that's saber ground. This one can handle batoning. A saber ground blade. It comes up to here and then comes up to the flat. And the best ones for batoning usually have a little bit thicker wedge. You want to go with a little bit thicker blade. And the wedge will be a little bit wider. And the wedge is what pries the wood apart when you're batoning through it. Something that's like more visible, like a wedge like that. But when it comes to batoning and doing all those like heavy duty camp chores, I wouldn't use this for that. This is a fighting knife. It's meant for fighting. It's meant for being used against people. I know I've seen Joe X tear these things up and stuff like that. But you know what? It's not meant for stabbing and beating up cars. That's not the purpose of these knives. The purpose of these knives are for combat. These are combat knives. And this one, I think it can handle combat and probably, camp chores. With the flat ground blade, saber ground, flat ground blade. The only thing I wish that this one had was, I wish it was sharpened on the back side right here, but I know they probably didn't do that for a lot of legal reasons and stuff, because a lot of places don't allow double-edged blades. But I just like combat Bowies with a back edge, with back switch sharpened. Like this one. This is a combat knife. It's been And it came sharpened from K-bar. I didn't sharpen that. That's the way it came. I don't know if they still make these. I hear people say that theirs aren't sharpened. But that's the way they used to make them. But to me, that's a real fighting Bowie knife. When the back edge is sharpened like that. All right, people. And that's about all I got to show you today. I just want to show my newest combat Bowie, my newest combat knife, and this one's perfect. This one, the guard is perfect. Came from the knife center. Absolutely perfect. Got the big guard. This is like a short sword. And I love the grip. I love Kraton grips. I think Kraton grips are awesome. This is an awesome knife. I like this better than the Lynn C Thompson one. I'm sorry, people. I love you, Lynn C Thompson, but this one's not flawed. The other two Lynn C Thompsons I tried out were flawed. They had loose guards. This one, the guard is nice and tight, and everything's made just right. It's ready to go. Fit to fight, sir. It's a beautiful blade. All right, people. Get one back. Look at that. And this is a machined steel butt cap. It's not a cast steel butt cap. Nice thick steel guard. That can actually protect your hand against another knife. You know, if a knife came down, hit the blade and came down towards your hand, that would protect your hand. That's a real guard. Absolutely love this one, people. It's going to become one of my favorites. It's going to become one of my favorites. And this one's not going to be a collector. This is going to be out. Most of these knives I see that I'm showing you on this table, except for this one, and this one, and this one. Timber. These four are the collectors. These four don't get used. Unless the apocalypse happens. Then they will get used. So I'm going to set these aside. That K-bar is to remind me of a knife that my pops gave me when I was a kid that I replaced, that I lost when I was a kid. Teenager, not a kid. The big blades, the big combat blades. These knives all stay out. This one's going to stay out too. This one stays out. 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 And this one stays out. These are all my fixed blades that stay out. This one I consider to be my home protection folder, my home protection knife. These are bushcraft knives. I got these to be this one, this one, this one, this one, I'm trying to organize them so I can show you exactly which ones. This is, I got to be a combat knife, house protection, combat knife, and I got these all to be knives I wanted to try out for bushcrafting. And I have tried out all these for bushcrafting except for this one. This one's been batoning. This one's been batoning. This one's been fishing, this one's been batoning, and this one's been batoning. And the one that batoned the best out of all these was actually this one. And it's because it has like a big wedge. This one was fairly good at batoning too. And they both maintain their edge very well too. But this one, this was able to handle the bigger pieces of wood that were, that required a longer blade. So, I would, say that if you're going to use a knife for batoning, I would rather have a bigger one than a shorter one. And the reason why is because a bigger one could do more things than the shorter knife can do. But if you're really concerned with weight, then I would go with like a shorter knife that has a thick blade stock and a good saber ground blade with a nice good wedge to it, because that will help you get through wood and do wood crafting things a little bit better. All right, people. There they are. These are my fixed blade fighters in camp knives. These are all knives I would recommend. I know it's getting late to get things for Christmas now, but if you still could get one of these for Christmas for somebody that's a knife lover that likes these types of knives, I would recommend any one of these. They're all excellent. And this is the newest one. This looks like a Rambo knife. It looks like something Sylvester Stallone would have in the Expendables. Absolutely love it, people. Peace. Stiletto. Hope everybody's doing good out there.